what are the best strategies for beginners and then more advanced minters approaching a Dutch auction?
You have a great video about this that you did, excuse me, recently, right?
I have a video where I live streamed the Art Blocks curated Dutch auction, and like 2 days ago, I wrote a big post in ZenAcademy talking about Dutch auction strategy. So we'll link to the video, and if you're in ZenAcademy, well, anyone can join and read that post as a free member as well.
So those are great resources. But give us sort of an overview of kind of what you talked about and showed.
Yes, I mean, basically, there's like two ways usually that a Dutch auction will play out. One is that whatever the starting price is, the market decides that's a great price. We're going to mint at that no matter what. Similar how Moonbirds is, and there's like a gas war at the top price, and then it's not too different to a normal drop. The other way is
not at all, really, right?
Yeah, the other way is sort of it's people just start, like, no one wants to be the first person to mint, basically, except for like some people who are really rich and time poor and don't care, or really want to support the artists and stuff like that. And have the money to afford it. But generally, 99% of people, they'll be like, well, I'm going to wait and see and watch. And like, wait till the price drops. And I want to pay the lowest price I can. But I also want to ensure that I don't miss out. So
right, sort of a balancing act between how good of a deal you want to get and how much you want to ensure that you definitely get one. That's because to me, I've definitely been in some of these Dutch auctions for art blocks where I want one and I want to get a good price, but I'm also willing to not get one if I can't. And it's just, you kind of got to balance those two things. But keep going.
It depends on your your personal desires. But basically what everyone does is they just watch and see what everyone else is doing. And when it looks like more and more people are minting, that's when you want to mint. So there's two ways to really look at that. One is on the website itself, there's usually a counter saying 200 minted, 500 minted, 2,500 out of 10K minted. And you can just see how quickly that's going up. But there's usually a delay between the website and what's actually happening on the blockchain. So the best way to view it generally is to look at the smart contract itself via Etherscan. And there's just a pending transactions button there. And you can see how many pending transactions there are. And literally just refresh that page. And that's what I do for almost every drop. And usually right when the price drops down, by an increment, there'll be like a little bit of a spike if some people want to mint, or maybe there's none. But in that following 10-20 seconds, you can start to get an idea of are there 30 people minting and then it just goes down to 0 pending and like everyone is waiting, or does the 30 turn into 100 and then 300 within the course of 10 seconds? And then if that's the case, well, it's probably going to go to 1,000 next. All right, I want to start minting now. And that's generally my approach.
Yeah, and this seems like it. This really applies again to the step down ones that we're talking about. Because if you are doing the gradual thing, the slight delay of the website and all that would be a lot less relevant, and you wouldn't need to strategize as much because there wouldn't be these cliffs where all of a sudden demand is going to go up a lot, but is it going to go up a lot where, like, for instance, you'll see like an art blocks drop where there's 1,000 pieces, right? And maybe 70 of them have been minted. Sometimes it'll go down the next thing and like 200 of the remaining will get minted, or all of the remaining will get minted. And that's a big difference. And that's where looking at the Etherscan, like you're talking about, and knowing how much gas prices are going to be is very relevant to your success in the drop. But again, in the gradual ones, theoretically, unless the supply is so little, and again, it's kind of like that first thing you're talking about where maybe it's barely a Dutch auction at all because everybody's trying to mint right away, that kind of thing. Unless that's happening, it almost isn't a strategy thing. Then you really do just get to kind of go, what is it worth to me, and what does it seem like it's worth to everybody else as I'm watching the curve go down and the number minted go up? And you can just make a personal decision and don't really have to strategize other than your own personal financial and emotional beliefs or whatever.
Yeah. And last thing I'll add is that especially in the drop down situation, when pending transactions start going up a lot, there'll usually be some sort of a gas war if there's enough demand. And so then I keep an eye on the website Block Native. There's like a gas estimator which tells you like what priority fee do you need and what max fee do you need to ensure, like, with a 99% chance your transaction will get mined in the next block. And it's not entirely accurate, because it could say this is an estimate, but then there's a bunch of people just put in amounts higher than that. But just keeping an eye on that website, which we'll have a link to in the show notes as well, helps inform me of like what I should be setting my gas at to have a decent chance of getting it through. And then if I see that it spikes up after my transaction went through, I might go into MetaMask, click speed up transaction or edit the gas price or whatever the button is, and then put in a new amount. If pending transactions continue going up and the gas amount required for it to be processed keeps going up, and I really want to pay it, and I'm okay paying an extra 0.1 or 0.15 or whatever the additional gas on top is going to be.
Yeah, that video is very instructive. People should check that out for sure if they're curious about this kind of thing.
Yeah.
And you kind of just, you just gave a great explanation of it, but to actually see it done is helpful for people.